I canceled the plans for Thanksgiving after my parents called my brother's baby their first grandchild. My mom said since my niece is their first grandchild, of course they have to spoil her. My kids were sitting in the living room with all of us, and my youngest daughter looked so hurt when she realized what my mother just said. My son and my 11-year-old didn't fully react to it, but I could tell it really bothered the both of them too. Sarah spoke up and said, "Oh, you mean first grandbaby, not first grandchild." My dad shook his head and replied that my niece was their first grandchild. After he said this, I didn't want my kids to keep sitting there and listening to that garbage, so I handed my son my keys and told him to wait in the car with all of his sisters. When they were gone, I asked my parents why the hell they'd say that my kids weren't their grandchildren, and my mom said they couldn't be their grandchildren because they weren't really my children. My wife and I were going to be hosting Thanksgiving at our house this year, but I told my parents that if they didn't view my kids as their family, then they could just host a meal at their own house with their real family while their fake family spends the holiday at my house. I left before they could say anything else. I practically cut them off with a slam of the front door. My wife and I have reiterated to our children that they will always be my kids, and I will always be their other mom, regardless of our DNA. My brother is pissed at me now because he thinks I reacted way too harshly, and that I should try to see where my parents are coming from with their statements. My mom texted saying that she and my dad love the kids, but they still aren't their real grandchildren, and she hopes that we can come to understand that because she doesn't want this to ruin my niece's first ever Thanksgiving.